The morning is not just a time of the day, it is a spiritual gate. Every new year is not merely a change of calendar, it is a transition of seasons, permissions, and spiritual allocations. As we stand at the doorway of 2026, we understand that nothing of value happens accidentally. Life responds to authority, and seasons submit to those who understand how to speak from alignment, not noise. This morning, we are not begging time to be kind to us. We are commanding the year to take its shape from the counsel of God. Father, we acknowledge that you are the Lord of times and seasons. Before days were counted and years were named, you were already enthroned. As we step into 2026, we refuse to enter casually. We enter with light, with understanding, and with spiritual intelligence. Let every confusion attached to this year be silenced before it begins. Let every plan that does not originate from you lose its permission to manifest in our lives. We decree that 2026 will not be governed by fear, uncertainty, or human limitation. This year will respond to divine order. We command clarity over destinies, precision over decisions, and alignment over steps. No wasted movement, no delay. I had obedience. No misalignment of relationships or assignments. Every door that must open will recognize us early. Every door that must remain shut will not distract us with noise. By the authority of the Spirit, we break cycles that have survived previous years. Patterns of delay, repeated battles, emotional exhaustion, and silent stagnation lose their hold now. This year will not recycle OP. I'm under a new name. We declare newness with substance, progress with evidence, and testimony that cannot be explained away. What could not be achieved in many years will find expression through grace in this season. We command preservation over our lives. Preservation of health, of peace, of spiritual fire, and of purpose. No sudden collapse, no unexplained losses, no spiritual dullness. Our EA. RS remains sensitive. Our hearts stay tender, and our spirits stay alert. We will discern seasons accurately and respond to instructions promptly. This year will not outpace our obedience. We speak strength into 2026. Strength to endure process, strength to remain faithful, strength to say no when necessary, and courage to step forward when called. We will not be fragile in destiny. We will not be easily distracted or broken by pressure. Grace will supply what discipline cannot produce on its own. Finally, we declare that 2026 will produce fruit that remains, not rushed results that fade, but lasting impact that speaks for years. Our labor will be rewarded, our prayers will return with answers, and our lives will point men to the faithfulness of God. This year will know us by victory, and history will record that we aligned early, spoke boldly, and walked deliberately. Amen. And then aligning the new year with divine authority and eternal purpose begins with the understanding that time is not neutral. Every year carries permissions, resistances, and spiritual possibilities that respond to alignment, not wishes. When a new year opens, it does not automatically become favorable simply because T is new. It must be positioned under authority. Divine authority is not about volume or emotion. It is about alignment with the will, nature, and intent of God. When a year is aligned with divine authority, it comes under a higher government, one that overrides chaos, randomness, and fear. Eternal purpose means that a year must be interpreted beyond personal ambition. Many people approach a new year asking only what they want to achieve. But alignment begins by asking what heaven intends to reveal, restore, or advance through that season. Purpose precedes progress. Without purpose, speed only leads to exhaustion. When a year is aligned with eternal purpose, it stops being a cycle of survival and becomes a platform for expression. Decisions become clearer. Distractions lose their power. ND energy is no longer wasted on battles that were never assigned. Alignment also requires submission. You cannot command a year you are not submitted in spirit to govern. Divine authority flows through obedience, sensitivity, and reverence. This is why prayer is not a ritual but a positioning. In prayer, the heart is adjusted, motives are refined, and perspective is elevated. A year aligned through Prayer is not just spoken into, it is yielded into. This alignment grants access to grace that human effort cannot produce. What strength fails to accomplish, alignment releases naturally. Eternal purpose gives meaning to delays, seasons of silence, and moments of pressure. When a year is aligned with purpose, even challenges become tools, not threats. Nothing is wasted. Every experience contributes to formation. The year stops fighting you because it recognizes order. Alignment creates spiritual harmony, where events, relationships, and opportunities begin to cooperate instead of collide. To align a year with divine authority is also to reject fear-driven living. Fear is a sign of misplaced authority. When God governs a season, peace becomes the compass, not comfort. This alignment empowers the believer to speak with confidence, act with restraint, and wait with understanding. The year is no longer something to survive, but something to steward, knowing that what is aligned above will eventually manifest below according to divine timing and purpose, unfolding steadily within the framework of eternity. Understanding the spiritual laws that govern seasons and transitions begins the realization that life operates by order, not chance. Just as the natural world responds to principles that cannot be negotiated, the spiritual realm functions through laws that remain consistent regardless of emotion or desire. Seasons do not change because we are ready. They change because a law has been fulfilled. When people fail to discern these laws, they misinterpret delay as denial and pressure as punishment, not realizing that transitions are often proof that growth is occurring. Every transition demands preparation. Spiritual seasons do not respond to urgency but to readiness. Many desire a new season without completing the requirements of the current one. This is why haste often leads to collapse. The law of preparation insists that capacity must increase before responsibility does. When this law is honored, transitions become smoother and less traumatic. When it is ignored, new seasons expose weaknesses rather than celebrate growth. Another governing law is the law of timing. Timing in the spirit is not measured by clocks but by alignment. A thing can be good and still be wrong because it is early or late. Understanding timing protects a person from premature actions that produce unnecessary struggle. When timing is right, even difficult instructions carry grace. When timing is wrong, simple tasks feel heavy. Discernment becomes essential because not every opportunity is a divine transition. Some are distractions dressed as progress. There is also the law of sacrificing transitions. Every season demands something. Moving forward always costs what is familiar. Comfort is often the currency of growth. Transitions require letting go of old identities, relationships, and methods that once worked but no longer fit the future being revealed. Refusal to release the past can delay entrance into what is next. What you honor from a previous season must not compete with what the next season requires. Spiritual laws also govern authority during transition. Authority is not automatic. It is recognized by the realm you are sent to. This recognition comes from consistent obedience in hidden seasons. Those who skip process find resistance where favor should be. Those who respect process find doors opening without struggle. Transitions expose whether authority was borrowed or built. When these laws are understood, seasons stop being confusing. Transitions are no longer feared but interpreted. You learn to move with God instead of rushing ahead or lagging behind, allowing each season to complete its assignment and hand you over faithfully into the next unfolding phase of destiny, guided by wisdom rather than impulse. Commanding clarity, direction, and divine order for a new season begins with the understanding that confusion is not a sign of harmility, but a symptom of misalignment. When God leads, he does so with light, even if the full picture is not revealed at once. Clarity does not always mean knowing every detail. It means knowing enough to take the next obedient step with confidence. Divine direction is progressive, and it unfolds to those who are willing to move without demanding full control over outcomes. Clarity is sustained by spiritual attentiveness. A distracted heart cannot hear clearly. Noise, impatience, and emotional turbulence distort perception. Commanding clarity requires stillness before it requires speech. In the place of stillness, motives are examined, desires are purified, and the heart becomes receptive. Direction often fails not because God is silent, but because the soul is too crowded to die. CERN. Order begins internally before it manifests externally. Divine order is the arrangement of priorities according to heaven's pattern. When order is absent, effort increases and results decrease. Many struggles are not attacks, but symptoms of disorder. When a life or a season is placed under divine order, things begin to align naturally. Relationships find their proper place. Assignments back, own defined. And energy is invested with precision rather than desperation. Order removes unnecessary battles by positioning you correctly within purpose. Commanding direction also requires courage. Direction often confronts comfort. The clarity God provides may demand decisions that are unpopular, inconvenient, or costly. Without courage, clarity becomes information instead of transformation. Direction is validated by obedience, not understanding. Each step taken in obedience sharpens discernment for the next step. This is how momentum is built in the spirit. Divine order also brings rest. Rest is not the absence of activity, but the absence of friction. When a season is ordered, even labor feels meaningful. There is peace in movement because the soul is not fighting the path. Anxiety reduces because the heart trusts the source of the instruction. This trust is cultivated through consistent submission, not dramatic declarations. As clarity increases, confusion loses authority. Decisions are made with peace, not pressure. The fear of missing out is replaced by confidence in divine timing. When clarity, direction, and order are established, a season stops being reactive and become intentional, allowing life to move forward with focus, stability, and spiritual coherence that reflects alignment with the higher government, guiding each step with quiet certainty toward fulfillment beyond mere activity. Breaking cycles, patterns, and limitations through prayer begins with the awareness that many struggles are not isolated events, but repeated experiences wearing different faces. Sigh. Pleas are sustained when they are ignored or misinterpreted. Prayer is not merely asking for relief. It is engaging the root of an issue with spiritual authority. Until the root is addressed, outcomes will continue to repeat. This is why insight is as important as intensity. You cannot break what you do not discern. Patterns often survive because they become familiar. Familiar pain is sometimes PR. A third, over unfamiliar freedom. Prayer exposes these hidden agreements the heart has made with limitation, fear, or disappointment. In the presence of God, excuses lose their power and truth becomes unavoidable. Prayer is the place where responsibility is restored without condemnation. It empowers the believer to confront what has been tolerated rather than merely endure it. Limitations are not always external. Many are internal frameworks formed by past failures, inherited beliefs, or prolonged waiting. Prayer redefines identity by aligning the mind with divine perspective. When identity changes, capacity expands. You stop approaching life as someone trying to escape weakness and begin to move as someone authorized to enforce victory. This shift is not psychological motivation. It is SP. A ritual realignment that produces tangible results. Breaking cycles also requires consistency. One moment of prayer may bring relief, but sustained engagement brings transformation. Cycles collapse when authority is enforced over time. This is why prayer must become a lifestyle, not an emergency response. As spiritual authority grows, resistance decreases. What once required effort begins to respond to command because the realm recognizes established dominion. Prayer also interrupts generational patterns. Some limitations outlive individuals because they are sustained across time. Through prayer, a person can stand as a boundary in history, declaring that what persisted before them will not continue after them. This is not rebellion, it is alignment with redemption. When prayer is rooted in understanding, It carries legal weight in the spirit. As cycles break, progress becomes evident. Decisions change, reactions mature, and opportunities appear where resistance once stood. The same environment no longer produces the same results because the internal order has shifted. Prayer does not just change circumstances, it changes the one who stands within them. When transformation occurs, internally, limitations lose their anchor, patterns lose their rhythm, and cycles dissolve, allowing a new season to emerge with freedom, authority, and forward movement established on a foundation that no longer negotiates with the past, but walks firmly into purpose without returning to what has already been conquered. Declaring preservation, strength, and spiritual sensitivity for a new season begins with the understanding that progress without preservation is loss in disguise. Many people advance in achievement yet deteriorate in health, peace, or spiritual vitality. True victory includes the ability to remain whole while moving forward. Preservation is not accidental. It is enforced through alignment, wisdom, and continual dependence on God. When preservation is declared, it is an acknowledgement that the journey matters as much as the destination. Strength in this context is not mere physical endurance or emotional toughness. It is the capacity to remain stable under pressure without losing clarity, compassion, or conviction. Spiritual strength enables a person to carry responsibility without being consumed by it. This strength is renewed, not manufactured. It comes from staying connected to the source of life. When strength is ignored, burnout becomes inevitable, and even good assignments begin to feel heavy. Declaring strength is a refusal to live from depletion. Spiritual sensitivity is the ability to perceive divine signals early. Many losses occur not because of sudden attacks, but because of ignored warnings. Sensitivity allows a person to sense shifts before they become storms. It sharpens discernment so that decisions are made proactively rather than reactively. A sensitive spirit can detect subtle changes in atmosphere, relationships, and direction. This awareness is cultivated through humility, stillness, and obedience to small instructions. Preservation also involves boundaries. Not every opportunity is meant to be pursued, and not every battle deserves engagement. Spiritual sensitivity teaches when to advance and when to rest, when to speak and when to remain silent. Strength without sensitivity becomes recklessness. Sensitivity without strength becomes fear. Both must work together to produce balanced progress. This balance protects destiny from unnecessary damage. Declaring preservation is also declaring immunity from distraction. Many PO lose years not to failure but to misplacement of focus. When focus is preserved, energy is invested where it matters most. Spiritual sensitivity keeps priorities aligned, ensuring that passion does not override wisdom. This alignment reduces regret and increases fulfillment. As preservation is enforced, peace becomes consistent rather than seasonal. Strength is no longer reactive but steady. Sensitivity remains sharp without becoming anxious. Life begins to move with rhythm instead of strain. In such a state, growth is sustainable, influence is pure, and the soul remains alive and responsive, allowing the individual to journey through the year protected, empowered, and attentive to divine guidance without drifting into exhaustion or dullness, but advancing with wholeness, intact, and peace. Iron clear until the season fulfills its assignment in full alignment with purpose. Establishing victory, fruitfulness, and lasting impact in a new season begins with the understanding that success is not measured by speed or visibility, but by endurance and continuity. Many victories are celebrated too early and fade because they were not rooted deeply enough. True victory is sustained progress that remains intact after applause fades and seasons change. It is the kind of triumph that withstands pressure, scrutiny, and time because it was built on obedience rather than excitement. Fruitfulness is the evidence of alignment, not effort alone. Effort can produce activity, but only alignment produces lasting results. When a life is positioned correctly, effort ET emerges naturally and consistently. Fruitfulness also speaks of reproduction. It goes beyond personal gain and begins to bless environments, systems, and people. A fruitful season leaves others strengthened, enlightened, and equipped, not dependent or depleted. This kind of fruit carries integrity because it reflects the nature of its source. Lasting impact requires patience. Impact that endures. Raise is rarely loud at the beginning. It grows quietly through faithfulness, discipline, and consistency. Many desire immediate influence without submitting to the process that makes influence safe. When impact precedes maturity, it becomes destructive rather than transformative. Establishing impact means allowing character to develop at the same pace as visibility. This balance protects both the individual, and those affected by their work. Victory in this sense is also internal. It includes mastery over impulses, fears, and reactions. External achievements lose meaning when internal battles remain unresolved. Establishing internal victory creates stability that external success cannot threaten. This inner strength enables a person to remain grounded even as responsibilities increase. Without this, growth becomes dangerous. Fruitfulness and impact are sustained through stewardship. What is received must be managed wisely. Grace increases when responsibility is honored. Neglect leads to loss, but stewardship multiplies. This principle ensures that what begins small can grow without collapsing under its own weight. Faithfulness in details secures longevity in results. As victory is established, confidence replaces anxiety. As fruitfulness increases, gratitude replaces pride. As impact expands, humility deepens. The life becomes a reference point, not because of perfection, but because of consistency and authenticity. In this state, results speak louder than declarations, and progress continues quietly yet powerfully, ensuring that the season does not end with memories of potential, but with evidence of fulfillment, transformation, and enduring value that remains effective long after the season has passed.